Oh, thank God, a cabin. I gotta pee.
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur coming to you with another review. This week, I checked out Jurassic Prey, which is actually on my DVD here. I was at Walmart the other day picking up something, and I saw this in their value bin for like $5, so I couldn't resist. So I do have some physical media here. I think Leo has reviewed 2 of the movies, so I'll have to, watch it for the other 2. But yeah, I actually own physical media now. Anyways, this movie was directed by Mark Polonia and stars Danielle, Donahue, Jeff Kirkendale, and Bob Dennis, among others, of course. The story of this movie is that there are these petty criminals, and they are doing petty crime. They're like robbing banks and stuff. And then on their way out after robbing the bank, they kind of like carjack this woman who also just robbed some safety deposit box in the bank as well. And so now they all have to go and hide out in this cabin in the woods. And it just turns out there's a dinosaur in the woods as well. And of course, it's a hungry dinosaur, so it's looking for some meals. What will happen though? Well, for that, you gotta watch the movie and find out. Alright, so let's discuss this movie. Well, first of all, it is a Mark Polonia movie, so you kind of know what to expect if you've heard that name before. He's just like a low-budget movie maker, and he makes a ton of these ones. And we've probably reviewed quite a few of them on this channel. Cocaine Shark, I don't know, Franken Shark, Sharkula, I don't know, all involving sharks, right? But this is one involving dinosaurs. And so you don't expect too much from the dinosaur, and you certainly don't get too much as well. There is like puppet legs that it has sometimes. There's a puppet head that it has sometimes. But it's basically what you've come to expect from Mark Polonia. So it's not really about the dinosaur. That's kind of his style. It's just kind of have something weird going on and just have not a regular story, but a story going on, and then this animal like comes in. And so that's just what this one is. It does involve these petty crooks and their kind of relationship with each other and their kind of backstories. And all of that is interesting. I would think that's actually the most interesting part of it all. Like, I just kind of like seeing them bicker and talk to each other and kind of mess up their own plans and that type of stuff. So all the petty criminal type of stuff certainly does work. It's like I said, the most interesting part. The dinosaur certainly kind of seems like an afterthought that he's really just kind of thrown in there. So, I'm sure it's one of these things where he's trying to probably cash in on a bigger name, but it's what it is. It's a Mark Polonia movie, just really more about the criminals this time. In addition, the acting is actually good in this one. Mark Polonia is missing quite a few of his regular actors. He doesn't have the guy with the voice. He doesn't have the female actor he usually uses. And he also is missing a few other of his main kind of actors. With this one, Danielle Donahue does a good job. She does a good job in everything I've seen. Jeff Kirkendale is kind of a Mark Polonia regular, but he's usually like the crazy scientist or something. But this one, he actually takes on more of kind of like a main character role. And he actually does a good job. He's like this sympathetic criminal who has to like hide secrets from his wife and stuff like that. And so certainly he does a good job. He certainly stepped out of, just kind of a background character and kind of comes up into the spotlight with this one. And so, yeah, the acting is good. Other than that, I think the shooting is good, of course. The sound is good on this one, unlike some other ones I've seen from him. So, yeah, overall, it's a fine movie if you can, go along with what you're watching on screen, just these guys bickering and their plans falling apart, right? So, yeah, it's somewhat interesting at least. And I think that brings me to what doesn't work with this one. Well, certainly with the dinosaur isn't very good. It's mostly just like a puppet, and it has like puppet feet as well sometimes. And there's very little of it too. There's probably like maximum 3 minutes, I want to say, of this dinosaur on screen. And so you very rarely see the dinosaur, and it has kind of bad interactions as well with, the people around it. And some stupid stuff happens with the dinosaur. Like, they're like holding someone's hand. It's like in the trailer, like they're holding someone's hand and then they look away and then they look back and like the person's gone and it's just a hand. It's so ridiculous. I'll clip it in here if I can see it.
I just couldn't cut the grand opening ribbon at another f***ing comic book store.
Andy,
And so everything to do with the dinosaur is not very good, unfortunately. You are there for more of the criminal aspect of their characters, but if you're there for the dinosaur, then you're not going to get what you want. I can almost guarantee that. So, stay away from it if that's you. Other than that, there is nothing wacky or crazy about this movie, which is kind of like Mark Polonia's style, right? There's the cocaine shark with that crab shark going around, right? There's Sand World where they go to a different planet. There's Amityville in space, and I still have yet to watch that one, so I might watch that one in the future. But in this movie, though, nothing crazy. It's mostly just these criminals in this cabin or in a car or whatever. So it is kind of lacking that charm to it that other Mark Polonia movies have. I would say this is kind of like a subpar one. It's kind of the more dull that way. And also because it's, kind of dull and nothing crazy, you also have less funny moments as well. Like half the comedy from most of his movies is just the crazy things that happen. And so there's not a lot of crazy things that happen in this one. I think there's only like one or two things I would say, but it's not like what you would expect from a Mark Polonia movie. So it is kind of a much more subdued, much more grounded, much more down to earth movie of his. So if that's something that you are looking for, which I can't imagine you are if you're into Mark Polonia, it is kind of a letdown that way. What else can I say about this movie? Truthfully, I did enjoy it to an extent, I would say, on a Mark Polonia kind of level of it, where the characters are just fun to watch, them bickering and stuff. But really, that's the only thing it's got going for it. And so I don't know if I would, suggest this movie. I think with this one, it's perfectly fine to, be distracted while you're watching it. So if it's just like a background movie while you're doing chores or something, and then you can just, say that you have seen it, but really you don't have to pay that much attention to it. The story is not that complex or anything. So, yeah, it's one of these movies where, like, I gotta see it because it's Mark Polonia and it's on the DVD, right? So I gotta watch it. But I can't imagine, like, someone really seeking it out. So, it's one of those movies. Let's say that. It's one of those movies. As for my recommendation, well, I don't think I can really recommend this movie unless, of course, you have, like, the DVD like me. Then, why not watch the whole DVD? And so if you are looking for it, I would say probably try to find one of Mark Polonia's other movies. They're lots of fun. They're crazy, wacky. This one is just a little dull, so this one might be on your skip list. As for a rating, well, it was mildly interesting with all these criminals doing petty crime, and so I will give it the 3.4. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say, so like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.